excerpt from Clarence Thomas's confirmation testimony. It's a flat denial of Anita Hill's allegations and a comment about how the charges that she made affected him. Watch.
Since September 25th, I have suffered immensely as these very serious charges were leveled against me. I have been racking my brains and eating my insides out, trying to think of what I could have said or done to Anita Hill to lead her to allege that I was interested in her in more than a professional way, and that I talked with her about pornographic or X-rated films. Contrary to some press reports, I categorically denied all of the allegations and denied that I ever attempted to date Anita Hill when first interviewed by the FBI. I strongly reaffirm that denial.
Was he lying?
He was parsing his words very carefully.
Well, he said he didn't try to date her, he didn't try to do anything with her. He was denying what she said.
I think he said at that time or something like that. Every time he makes a statement, he qualifies it. That, to me, that doesn't mean that he did not have a sexual relationship with her at some point in time other than these events that she's stating. And he's talking about what she said. I mean, it's very carefully worded.
Sort of like what is.
Yes, sort of like that.
Okay, what do you make of his wife calling Anita Hill last week?
When I first heard it, I was half asleep, and it was brought to my attention by Michael Fletcher, a reporter that I knew in the Washington Post, who I had never allowed to interview me and never given a statement to. And he tricked me into giving him my impression of what that meant. And it was a genuine response that I gave him half asleep. And it was that it doesn't surprise me at all.
Why do you think she called her?
She called Anita Hill because this is a subject that is a source of great angst for her husband. It's also most likely a subject that is mysterious to her, because so much of that particular complex subject makes no sense in the version that her husband would have given her over the years. She most likely thought that she was solving a problem for her husband. She most likely thought she was doing him a favor by making that call.
You think, therefore, it's still discussed in that marriage?
I think that Clarence has never told his wife the truth about the kind of activity that he engaged in at that point in time when he was at EEOC and at education. I don't think he's told her the truth about his preferences sexually. I don't think he's told her the truth about the relationships that he had with women who worked at EEOC other than Anita Hill, etc., etc., etc.
What is one of those preferences sexually?
Well, it's kind of complicated, and I don't feel comfortable talking about that in this context.
What do you think generally of his decisions on the court?
His decisions, to me, can be very simply explained. And the explanation, I think, for the originalism, for the stark conservatism, for the disparate treatment of different kinds of groups is simply this. He is rewarding those people that he thinks are his friends. He is also punishing those people he thinks are his enemies.
So it's personal.
It is extremely personal.
But he benefited from affirmative action.
Yes, he
and
did.
has been against it.
That's correct.
How do you explain that?
Simple. Punishing his enemies and rewarding his friends. His enemies are people who are active in civil rights, professors who have criticized him, and anybody who disagrees with the conservative friends that he has, such as Rush Limbaugh.
Why did you come out now?
Come out now?
Well, you had a good
That's a kind of a loaded.
Well, you had a good friend
That's a
at the Washington
loaded
Post.
question.
You had a good friend at the Washington Post. You never spoke to him about it.
That's true. First, he caught me by surprise with the question about
The call.
the phone call. And secondly, at this point in my life, I'm a lot older. I've written what I want to write about my own life. And Clarence is just a part of that. I have no fear anymore.
Thank you, Lillian. Lillian McEwen, former girlfriend of Justice Clarence Thomas. Again, we reached out to Justice Thomas for a statement on tonight's interview. We were told no comment. Once secret documents about the war